Is it just me or is it weird every time Kevin Harlan on the Warriors game broadcast he does a ad reading for Rich and Scandal or Rich and Shameless Girls Gone Wild story. It's like, wait, what are we talking about now? Like, there's kids that are watching this broadcast, and you're doing ad readings for Girls Gone Wild. It's just like so
what
bizarre.
a time in our lives where we were preteen, early teen boys without very limited access to internet, and our way of getting that was staying up until 3 a.m. on Comedy Central to see censored versions of Girls Gone Wild footage.
Don't lie, Julio. Have you seen Girls Gone Wild video before?
And I probably have.
Yeah.
My
buddy in college had one, and one night we were like waiting, we're pre-gaming, waiting to go out to a party, and then like our friend who had the address ended up just not texting us. So, and we were like, we were so baffled that our buddy in the dorms like had one. So we turned it on and we just watched it for like 2 or 3 hours. Just a bunch of guys in a dorm room just watching it. It's the creepiest, weirdest way to do it, but it just was one of those nights when you're a freshman in college, you just like, and you don't have anything to do. You're just, but it was hilarious looking back on it.
It's a weird rite of passage to watch some sort of form of pornography with your friends when you're at a young age. It's weird saying that as a 32-year-old at this point, but it's like, I think everybody's gone to that. Anyways.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Town Tailgate. I'm Chris Madrigal, and that's Julio Reynoso. I promise this podcast is not about pornography.
We're not. That was, well, yeah, that's it. No more.
Yeah. I was at opening day. It was a lot of fun. Our good friend Julio, or not Julio, you're Julio. Our good friend Chris Martinez, State Farm in Walnut Creek. He gave me this. He also gave me a bunch of swag. I have to give you some of it. Oh, you know what? Hold on 1 second. Filibuster.
I'll fill. That is what a filibuster is. So Chris went to the home opener. He's now been going for about 16 years in a row. I unfortunately couldn't make it this year. Planning on hopefully heading up for Memorial Day weekend, but we shall see. We got a great show ahead of you though. Our big three, a lot of stuff happened this past week in baseball. Miguel Cabrera, welcome to the 3000 Hit Club. No surprise, Yankee fans are jerks. And Ohtani had one of the best starts in recent history. On top of that, a lot of A's news to cover. We just finished 17 games in 17 days. How'd it go? To everything that came out of it. Somebody's already become an instant fan favorite in Oakland, which is pretty astonishing. And we didn't really get a chance to do a full fleshed out version of this just because of time and schedules and all this. But for our main segment, we are doing a condensed version of our season prediction. So I killed enough time. Look at that. He's got a mug
sold out.
now.
I'm back. We sold out. So for the people listening in on the podcast, I'm holding up a State Farm coffee mug. I have State Farm sunglasses on right there. Oh, wait, no. Here we go.
Other side there.
There's State Farm red sunglasses. And I have a State Farm foam basketball up on my shelf. So that is to represent our sponsor, Chris Martinez, State Farm agent of Walnut Creek. If you need insurance, home, auto, or life insurance, hit up Chris Martinez. His phone number is 925-266-8997. Agent ChrisMartinez.com.
And make sure you tell him that the boys at Town Tailgate, who led off the podcast talking about the Girls Gone Wild documentary and their first time into anyways,
manhood. He threw us a little opening day tailgate. It was a lot of fun. Had some burgers, had some beers, or dogs, and had some beers. Went into the stadium. It was, the game was awesome, which was really cool. The 6th inning, as a lot of you guys probably watched, was really exciting. That amazing, was it 4-run 6th inning, 5-run 6th inning, because it was 1-1 at that point. 1-1. And it was a great preview of the young talent too. Christian Pache he hit in 2 runs. Who else? Noisy was the first person to get on base. Really like introducing the future to the home fan base. Probably the least attendance that I've seen of an opening day in my 14 years straight of going to opening day. I was pretty shocked. I remember you texting me saying like it looked like a pretty decent crowd. It was a pretty decent crowd for like a Friday night, but it wasn't a decent crowd for an opening day. Opening day always sells out. There's always 50,000 strong in that stadium. There was about 19, 17 or whatever. And Julio wants me to talk about the experience. The experience was terrible. The lines were long as shit everywhere. Half of the concession stands were closed. We went up to the Shibe Tavern bar to get drinks, and if anyone's ever been up there, that bar is fucking huge. It's like a 50-foot bar on both ends. Typically there's close to 8 to 10 bartenders that are behind there, just kind of moving things along. There was 3 bartenders total in the entire bar. It took us 20 minutes to get beers. It was brutal. It was complete sabotage. It was clear. I don't want to, I hate to start the podcast off so somber, but I mean, everybody knows it was they're doing everything they can to fudge the numbers to make it seem like the market isn't here so they can move, but it was pathetic.
But you know what wasn't pathetic is the baseball history that happened this past Friday. Boom! Mediocre transition. Miguel Cabrera, welcome to the 3,000 hits club. Our former nemesis turned, I guess, pal. I think, at this point in his career, I think everybody kind of loves Miggy.
I loved Miggy back then when he was going up against us in the ALDS back.
Yeah, I think it was more Justin Verlander I hated more than him.
Yeah.
But Miguel Cabrera hit 3,000 hits. He becomes the 33rd member of the 3,000 hit club, and he becomes only the 7th member of a 3,000 hits, 500 home run club. So, round of applause. There's going to be a good chance we're not going to see another 3,000 hit player for a while. We'll talk about that in a minute. But
Julio, fun fact: Barry Bonds doesn't have 300 hits, 3,000 hits.
Yeah, I think the list is like
I looked that up when he got intentionally walked. So it was like the 2 games before the 3,000th hit. I looked it up and I was like, "What? Barry Bonds doesn't have 3,000 hits?" I was like shocked.
Now, can you name the 6 players who have 3,000 hits and 500 home runs?
I could try.
All right.
Babe.
Try real quick. Who?
Babe.
No.
Babe Ruth doesn't? Oh, wow.
No.
Okay. Carl Yastrzemski?
No.
Okay. Lou Gehrig?
All right, we're cutting you off. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Rafael Palmeiro, Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, wow.
Eddie Murray. And that Miguel, I don't have that actual stat in front of me. But Miguel Cabrera also became only the 3rd, depending on when he retires and what happens this year. But he will be only the 3rd player ever to have 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, and have a career batting average of over 300. And like the only 2 other players are Hank Aaron and Willie Mays.
That's pretty wild.
We're kind of, the early 2010s, Miggy was god tier,
and probably the only guy
production
in that tier, in that group, that has a triple crown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel old? Like,
no.
I remember. I
feel old.
Yeah, that's true. But I remember being a freshman in high school watching Baby Miggy win a World Series, and he was just a slender kid.
Yeah.
In left field.
Yeah, dude, left field. Oh man, that was weird.
How do you feel about the Yankees intentionally walking him?
I mean, I don't. If it were like the 6th inning and they're down by like 3 runs, or then then I'd be like, what the fuck? Okay, this is kind of fucked up. But I mean, they still had a chance to win the game. It was 1-0. They had a man on 3rd and 2nd. They had 1 out. You need to try and ground into a double play. You can't get a double play if there's no one on first. So you intentionally, like, I don't blame Aaron Boone for doing that. He's still trying to win the fucking baseball game. Like if this was his last game of his career, then it's one thing, but it's not. It's like the second week of the season. Like he's gonna get his 3,000 hit. Like it's gonna happen this season. So there's no point to, yeah.
It wasn't a great week for the Yankees in general. We'll talk about that in the next part of the segment. But I feel like there's not a lot you can really talk about it. I think you just got to really take the step back and appreciate how awesome he's been for our baseball watching life. Obviously, going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I think the coolest part about it too was his single. He was driven in by Spencer Torkelson from a 3-run bomb, who Tiger fans are going to tell you that guy's the second coming of he's going to be the next great Tiger. So it's kind of cool to see that. Now I'm going to ask you.
That kid's fucking good, dude.
Oh, he looks ASU legend. He almost broke Barry Bonds' freshman home run record, and then COVID hit. Mm-hmm. So here's just a couple potential names that might get there. I think we can already roll out. Andrew McCutchen's 35 and he has 1839. That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Robinson Cano's 39 and he's about 369 away. Nice. Not going to happen.
I think it's possible.
As a 39-year-old, he has to get 300 more hits.
Yeah, he'd have to play like 4 more seasons, but it's not impossible.
Yadier Molina, 21-16. He's already said this is it, so that's not happening. Mm-hmm. Joey Votto needs another 1,000. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Nelson Cruz needs another 1,000. He needs a lot. A couple potential names, though. Jose Altuve is 32. He has 1,783. Yes or no?
Maybe. I don't know.
The other
typically slow down around early 30s, early to mid 30s. So it's like you're not, though he may be halfway there now, he's not going to get 1,500 more hits in the next however many years, 10 years of his career,
The other one that could be close, Eric Hosmer, also 32, 1,648.
No shot in hell.
Who's we'll move into the next segment. I'm going to give you a pop quiz. Who is closer to 3,000 hits? Kurt Suzuki or Brendan Crawford?
Is it Kurt Suzuki?
It is Kurt Suzuki.
That's pretty shocking.
Therefore, Oakland is better than San Francisco.
For all those people who've been telling me that Brandon Crawford's this like great hitter for the past 10 years, I mean, I think that's evidence right there.
Dude, okay, before we go into
hitting, he had one good year hitting. It was last season, so Giants fans can chill out.
Dude, there is this one baseball writer on Twitter who thinks that all the Giants' success in the last 20 years has become they've actually been secretly massive steroid users.
That's quite the.
It was wild. The dude was like, "You're telling me all this shit happened with Barry Bonds and nothing happened to and the organization knew it. Nothing happened. All these guys who were career journeyman hitters all of a sudden became fucking Babe Ruth during these World Series years. Like who the hell was Cody Ross? Yeah. And they're like, oh, and then all of a sudden all these guys who were pretty washed up and Belt, Crawford and Posey all of a sudden have career years. I'm like, I don't believe it, but I think it was funny.
It's quite the conspiracy theory.
Next topic. We already said Yankees did not have a great week. Even though this wasn't really the team itself, this was a fan base. So in case you missed it yesterday during a very contentious game against the Cleveland Guardians, in the bottom of the ninth, Gleyber Torres hit a walk-off. Yeah, it's going to be weird. We're going to have a drinking game every time you still hear Indians.
Yeah.
But Gleyber Torres hit a walk-off to right field. Game over. All right, that's it. And then all of a sudden, Yankee fans started bombarding Oscar Mercado, right fielder for the Guardians, with beers and whatever plastic stuff that was happening there. The reason why it happened is in the previous inning or earlier in the inning, Steve Kwan, he's a left fielder, the rookie sensation we talked about last week. He made a play to try to get a ball, and he collided into the fence in left field. And He was down, a pretty scary moment for a second. Turned out to be okay, but Yankee fans were really yapping at him, saying a lot of stuff.
They were cheering.
Miles Straw, center fielder, ran over to go check on his boy, and they started getting in it with Yankee fans. They were talking a lot of shit. And then what eventually led to it was the beers flying out on the field. Miles Straw went on to say that Yankee fans are classless and that they are the worst fan base on the planet. And I think we all could have told you that since day one.
Yeah. Julio sent me the John Boy breakdown, which is really good, and you can just hear the like. He's a Yankee fan. You could just hear the like anger on his voice that, these fellow Yankee fans are making them look bad, and how classless that was. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more we can get into. I think we both agree that was pathetic and it was disgusting, and just the act in general at the beginning when he's hurt and the Yankee fans in left field are like cheering, like, yeah, let's go, fuck you, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, bro, like, you care, this baseball team is that important to you that we're gonna like, live above, like, more, I don't know, your morals. It's disgusting, and I don't blame Miles Straw for climbing up the fence and saying something to those guys. Like, he's defending his boy, and he's telling them the way it is. Like, that's classless. To get them to stop throwing beer bottles at the end of the walk-off, Judge and Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton had to go out there and like stand between the fans in the right field bleachers and the Guardians players who are like being held back and have to like signal to the fans like, hey, cut it out, like, that's not cool, like, stop, like, it's ridiculous. Like, your stars have to get involved to get you guys to shut the fuck up, like, that's, and stop being menaces. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just pathetic. It's just absolutely pathetic. And I'm sure we could ask Robbie and Rich about it, but they're going to say the same thing that we're saying. Like, they're probably not very proud of their fan base right now either.
Yeah, and it's, not to continue a stereotype. I'm sure we as A's fans probably have some weird stereotype. I don't know what it would be. Like, we all have drums in our pockets or some shit. But yeah, it just sucks. It sucks that had to happen. And I would imagine too, because Miles Straw did come from the Astros, he probably already had some shit set to him over the last 2-3 years as being a part of that franchise. So I can only imagine that was the tipping point. But hopefully, John Boy did a really great job of getting footage of this fan. So I'm hoping like a ban is coming soon. And we're all for talking shit. Have fun with it. Don't ever push over. You should know what the boundaries are. And I can say I think we've both been pretty drunk at baseball games, but I've never had the desire once to be like, I'm throwing a beer at somebody in the field. So,
I mean, I've never even yelled anything malicious, let alone acted on.
I've said some bad things to Barry Bonds as a kid, but also,
okay, I
was a kid and it was Barry Bonds.
All right, let's move on.
Yep. Ohtani. He had arguably one of the best starts ever. He was winless. He in the last six, or he didn't have a great outing in the previous game, but then on Wednesday night against the Houston Astros on 420 of all days, he looked like what we all thought he is, what he was, whatever. Anyways, amazing. 6 innings pitched, a career high 12 strikeouts. He had a perfect game going into the top of the 7th. And he also had more hits as an individual. He collected 2 hits and 2 RBIs than the Astros did when he was pitching. So he had more hits than he gave up. What?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you sent me this, I wasn't surprised. He's that fucking good. He's probably going to win the MVP again this year. They're taking the reins off him hitting wise. He's going to be able to hit when he's pitching. This dude's a fucking maniac. He's so good. He's the face of baseball. He plays in our division, which sucks, but happy for the dude. And it's fucking awesome. And he's just fun to watch. And yeah.
The only thing I'm a little nervous about, and we saw it last week, is just Joe Madden not just Joe Maddening himself, if that makes sense. Like Joe Madden intentionally walking with the bases loaded.
Yeah, when he walked in a run, that's so. What is is he like losing his mind? What's going on there?
Yeah, he's always been kind of that weird thinker, but it's kind of, we'll have to talk next whenever we do an Angels A's pod. When the next series comes up, we'll have to talk to John about it, because it'd be interesting to hear what Angels fan base is, because it seems like the game is starting to pass him a little bit in that sense.
Yeah. It's almost like he's trying to overcompensate, like show everybody like I'm fucking the smartest person in baseball, even though you're clearly not because you walked in the run. Like he's trying to prove himself or something like that. It's really fucking weird. I don't get it.
Now, obviously, Mark Kotsay is the smartest person in baseball. We know that, Chris.
Obviously. Good segue.